Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Transformers Age of Extinction, starring Mark Wahlberg, Stanley Tucci, John Goodman, Kelsey Grammer, T.J. Miller, Sophia Myles, Nicola Peltz, and Jack Rayner, and directed by Michael Bay. Now, before I get into this review, I have to confess something right now. I wasn't really thrilled about the trailers of this movie, and I wasn't excited about it either coming into the movie theater few years ago for that movie, because Bay has gone a little too far for me as far as bang bang explosion explosion to keep his mojo going. But I have some interesting stories to tell when we get to the new movies, so let's get into this one for now. I thought the opening with the baby dinosaurs was cute until some Transformers that are called the Creators destroyed the whole dinosaur race. Sophia Myles is the first character we get introduced to as Darcy, an archaeologist who hangs out most of the time with Joshua Joyce, played by Stanley Tucci later on in the film. It's interesting. I mean, I always found her to be rather an interesting but a strange presence, because I've seen her in Underworld, the first Underworld, let me put it that way, and she always reminds me of the same character she played in Underworld, where she jumps up on the roof of the building and then goes like a cat, for example. Cade Yeager, played by Mark Wahlberg, has an interesting arc about how he wants his daughter to be safe and not hang out with any of the guys at her age. It's a typical father-daughter relationship they have, but it's a little predictable at times, but it'll get, well, we'll see how better it goes by the end. T.J. Miller has some good comedic moments in other movies, but I'm afraid here his character is annoying. It's very annoying when he calls the Black Ops people scary guys in bad cars or something like that. Drives me nuts. Nicola Peltz plays Cade's daughter Tessa, who she screams as much as Shia LaBeouf in the last movie, which is out of control for Michael Bay in general. Stop making people scream in your movies, Bay! Kelsey Grammer is a government villain who, I wouldn't say muck things up, but is the villain of the movie in this whole movie, and has another Decepticon hunting Autobots called Lockdown. And I like Kelsey Grammer. I mean, he's a fine presence, but I don't think he was a great character in this movie by a long shot. Michael Bay not only goes too far with loud noises, but not to be a racist or anything like that, but a stereotypical African American woman who tries to sell Kate's place and becomes as annoying as T.J. Miller's character. Oh, that makes me so mad when Bay does that. Killing off Ratchet by Lockdown is rather a bad move by Michael Bay, because he just brings more noise in this movie than ever, and it's just... But I didn't mind Ratchet. I mean, I liked him in the first three movies, even though what little he did for those movies, plus this one. It's a real shame that he died in this one. Cade fixing up the truck that he bought earlier in the film, aka Optimus Prime, who transforms after the missile situation, and he seems more negative this time than he ever was in the first three films, because of the events of Dark of the Moon and how he lost faith in people. In humans, let me rephrase that. The line Kelsey Grammer's character Harold Attinger say, the Alien versus Predator line, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, as a saying, which, are you freaking kidding me? That's not really a saying. So, bad choice, Bay. And Cade is from Texas, whereas Mark Wahlberg is from Boston. It sounds like a problem, because when someone from Boston acts like a Texas Ranger, well, maybe not a Ranger, but it doesn't sound like someone from Texas at all, it's very daring for Mark Wahlberg and Michael Bay to do something like that in general. The chase between Optimus and Lockdown, as well as Shane, played by Jack Rayner, as well as Cade, Tessa, and T.J. Miller, as I'm going to call him in the movie, went on went on for a while, and this is the longest Transformers movie by far, with 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it kind of drags. I'm not gonna lie to you, it really does. The father and son-in-law fight. Well, they didn't really get engaged, but it's just something I like to call it. Was like a typical "I'll hunt you downtown to Chinatown" cliche. It's kind of like just the father-son thing. It's pathetic. We meet the Autobots, including the returning of Bumblebee, Hound voiced by John Goodman, and Drift voiced by Ken Watanabe, and a couple of others, which is a pleasant surprise in a good way, because I like John Goodman and Ken Watanabe. I like John Goodman because he's a really fantastic presence. I'm a fan of John Goodman, by the way. And Ken Watanabe, he's a good samurai from The Last Samurai and other films. In fact, I just reviewed him recently in Batman Begins, another samurai at that point. So, and now he's a samurai in this movie, except he's the voice of a robot. But it's a good thing. Chicago looks better here than it does in the last film. While we're in Chicago, we're introduced to Joshua Joyce, played by Stanley Tucci, as I brought up earlier, and he also is here to muck this whole movie up, just like Siemens was in the first 3 films. Do we really? Why do we need him? Is what my question would be. When Optimus is captured by Lockdown, and they also grab a car, that Tessa's in, and she screams, "Help me!" And I thought by that point, Tessa, get out of the damn car and break the window or something if you are going upside down. And she ends up captured anyway, so she's dumb. I'm gonna put it out there. When Cage, Shane, and the Autobots rescue Tessa, and Optimus, that sequence was the longest sequence I've seen in a Transformers movie. Optimus knew the presence of Megatron while they were in Joyce's company, and doesn't reveal it until after the last long sequence. The final battle took forever, including the sequence when Optimus releases the Dinobots versus getting this seed bomb and away from the bad guys and China. Last and least, Optimus versus Lockdown, where Lockdown gets himself cut in half. It's ridiculous. Optimus saying "Leave Planet Earth alone" or "I'm coming for you." Seeing the trailers for the new movie, I thought, yeah, after you become a bad guy, give me a break. Alright. It's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 4.9 out of 10. This mindless 2 hours and 45-minute movie is too long for Michael Bay to go boom, boom, explode, explode to keep his mojo going. It's just too much for people looking for a good movie these days. So I'll be back next week with Transformers: The Last Night. So until next time, roll out.